Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the All Star Wrestling review for the 29th of September 1979, and getting excited because we're about to enter into 1980. Partway through 1981 in my watching, and as you can see here in 79 in my recording, so hoping to catch that up and reconcile that over the next couple of weeks. Anyway, um, got over 1,700 of these in our archive, and certainly interested in continuing to grow that. Odd combination, cool combination. Chief J. Strongbow and Dominic DeNucci, two big time baby faces for the time period, are teaming up here in our opening contest here this week, and they are facing off against the, I guess I'd say, makeshift team in a different direction. Makeshift in more of a we need bodies for them to wrestle sort of thing, and that is Gypsy Rodriguez and Moose Monroe. Of course, Strongbow coming back a couple of weeks before, maybe less than 2 months, but not too terribly much less. Um, in the pursuit of Greg Valentine, doesn't get everything he wants on that. Does get enough, but it's a rough run to say the very least. As our Chief J. Strongbow not getting as much attention as he might like here. Moose Monroe trying to slow down DeNucci, front face locks, punch kick, and Rodriguez coming in to do the same thing. DeNucci, multi-time tag team champion, most notably Dino Bravo, his tag team championship partner. Bravo, a guy that actually missed from the 70s. Hard shots by DeNucci. DeNucci managing to get tied up a couple of times here. Strongbow staying out for the early part of the match. And again, the heels taking the majority of punishment on DeNucci for the first several minutes of the contest. I don't know if that's necessarily by design. Then there's tag off to Strongbow, and the heels take over on him as well. I think they're building to the big comeback, which ultimately is a good strategy. However, when you have a 5 to 7 minute match and the heels take, let's say, 80% of it, are you really doing your baby faces that much good? I'm not saying 50-50 booking is the way to go every time, but it's just an interesting run there. Anyway, obviously the baby faces get the victory, and Sweet Hansen, who is in a Confederate flag draping with Classy Freddie Blassie up next. Hansen had been brought in primarily to have a short run with Backlund, at least I assume. I don't know if that had happened on the house show circuit yet. I assume not if he's still getting enhancement wins here. But anyway, super basic match here. Nothing worth paying attention to. Some basic takedowns, standing switches, side headlocks. The pile driver is the main move for Sweet Hansen. Hansen does take his man over. Punch kick, sunset flip, basic stuff, body slam, and again we see Fred Blassie acquainting the art of wrestling managership to the art of war. Basically saying his man Hansen doesn't even need instruction. Hansen obviously looks completely psychotic at points in the promo, and McMahon is unimpressed with Blassie's blunt, although psychologically sound promo. Anyway, we go back to Fred Blassie presenting another athlete, this time Hussein Arab, otherwise known as the Iron Sheik. And we will return in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail as I gotta grab my phone. We'll be back in 2 minutes to finish up the program. And again, a Hussein Arab match is, at this time, 1979, not exactly, a state-of-the-art match, but at the same time, classic Freddie Blassie, who ends up managing him during his main run in 83 as well, is here, and again, we see Blassie kind of trying to get his man under control a little bit. However, a couple of duck headbutts and headlines and basic stuff here. Hussein Arab, aka the Iron Sheik, allows a sunset flip to happen, gut wrench suplex, and of course Sheik trained around 72 or so with the auspices of Vern Gagne. So I mean, and then we see a pull up for a vertical suplex as well. Amazing to me that Sheik at the time was more doing, I guess, what you'd consider a not a high spot style, but certainly a more high impact style for the late 70s time period than he would do even 5 years later. And I think a lot of people underestimate, undervalue a lot of what's being done there. So the next foray into things is a tag team championship match here. Or not a tag team championship match, but a future tag team championship team, as the benefit of Ivan Putski, Tito Santana defeat Jose Estrada and John Schmidt 637. Putski pinned Schmidt after a Polish hammer. Again, as has been the case when Santana and Putski have teamed before, Santana takes the majority of the early part of the match, stays on the arm for a good bit. Really basic things. I mean, they're really trying to get Santana over. And if you look at the nature of the way that Santana is protected in this 79-80 run, it's no wonder that when he comes back 84 to 92-93, he's so beloved. Putski comes in, takes a little bit more punishment, although using more power moves as well. Schmidt is the guy that takes the fall. He's a less of a impacted enhancement talent guy, and he gets hit with the Polish hammer. Tito basically gushing over being able to team with Putski, and eventually them getting the tag team championships going into the end or the early part of 1980, which is coming, and we will be covering that as well as 1982 and such here, or 1981 and such in the weeks and months to come. Is there. We end with a Larry Zbyszko match. Larry, of course, still a babyface here in 1979, although that doesn't last for terribly much longer. Might actually be around these couple of months here where he ends up moving in the direction of turning heel-ish. Dave Darrow is his opponent. I mean, arm drags, arm bars, and the like. Nothing really worth writing home about, nothing too intense, but at the same time, the idea pretty simple and pretty thorough. The idea being that he in fact has some degree of connectivity, some degree of reflexology a little bit with kind of being a very basic wrestler and still endorsed by Bruno as the main part. Head scissors and the like. Gets about, as mentioned, about 3.5 minutes out of this. Head scissors takeover and stays on headlocks and arm bars and basic stuff. Larry eventually takes his man over. A couple of sunset flip attempts later, and small package. Larry does get a victory here and gets a victory with a wrestling hold. We'll be back with more right after this.